The root of college esports growth starts here. This is College Esports Now. Tune in to College Esports Now for the most exciting highlights and updates in collegiate gaming. Get ready for non-stop action and excitement. Catch us live every Friday and Sunday right here on ESTV. Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of College Esports Now. I'm your host, Paulie Hype, and later we'll be joined by my co-host, Katie Scott, for this week's College Esports News. For now, let's head around the U for the latest in matchups, competitions, and standings. Let's start this week with Monday, April 10th, for the Esports U Campus Cup featuring Fortnite. A new season of Campus Cup arrives, and with 13 different teams competing in warm-up round 1. Throughout the 4 games, there were 2 teams that stood out above the rest when it came to point scoring. Sap and Cut, who participated in last semester's tournament and did extremely well, came back and nearly topped the leaderboards on week 1 with an astounding 95 points, 84 of which came from placements alone. Sadly, they were unable to match the sheer firepower of Crisp and Bryson when it comes to eliminations. These two scored 31 eliminations and 90 placement points, scoring higher in all categories compared to the rest of the field, leaving them to take home the victory royale in warm-up round 1. Next up, we head to Tuesday, April 11th for the Paideia Cup Women's Valorant Matchmaking, sponsored by Xbox. The end of the matchmaking season has arrived, and we have to now select 3 teams to advance to the show match finals in Arlington, Texas. We started with the 3rd place match, the winner moving on to the finals. This match was between University of Michigan Pink and Powerpuff Girls. In an intense battle, Map 1 of Icebox proved the value of the series. The first 9 rounds of the game went to UMich Pink, but just when we thought it was over, Powerpuff Girls came back with their own 9 rounds in a row, which left the game tied and ending the map at 13-11. It continued on to Map 2 as the duelists battled it out and arrived at a 2-0 victory for Powerpuff Girls, securing them a spot into CECC Texas. In the second match, we featured the 2 teams already qualified, and now they play to determine who gets a bye into the finals. Carlton, who played this team numerous times throughout the season and semester, made quick work of the finals, taking UH Scarlet down 2-0 for the 3rd time. They will advance as the 1st seed headed into Arlington. Next up is Wednesday, April 12th for the CECC Texas Qualifier Day 1. It's Day 1 of the CECC Lone Star Qualifiers, and we got a whole lot of Texas competing for that spot into Arlington. We started off with a hard-boiling matchup as the home team took on San Antonio that nearly went into a 3rd map, but Arlington clinched the win even with so many overtimes. Up next, we saw some familiar LCQ faces as Texas A&M and Houston duke it out for a guaranteed spot in the semifinals. Houston was pulling up a decent fight, but Texas A&M were showing why they were one of the scariest teams in the collegiate scene. Next, we head to Thursday, April 13th for the CECC Texas Qualifier Day 2. We got a rematch of Day 1 as Arlington and San Antonio try to figure out who will get that last remaining spot in the semifinals to play against Texas A&M. Unlike yesterday's matchup, this series did indeed go to a Game 3 after a war was battled out on Lotus and Fracture. It was so close that it could have been either team moving on, but there could only be one, and that was Arlington clinching their spot to play against Texas A&M. Arlington had the momentum and adrenaline on their side as they came out swinging against the higher seed Texas A&M. The games were back and forth between the two, but unfortunately for Arlington, Texas A&M just slightly came out on top in both games, booking their tickets to the finals against Blinn. Next up is Friday, April 14th for the CECC Texas Qualifier Day 3. We started off the Lone Star with 8 Texas teams and finally narrowed it down to 2 final schools, Blinn College and Texas A&M. The first half of Haven ended up being a split 6-6 half, with both teams showing why they made it this far into the tournament. Sadly, that was all Texas A&M were able to show, as Blinn dominated the second half to claim the first map. Unfortunately, we did not get to see the second map, but we did go to the third map where we headed off to Lotus. Similar to how the previous map played out, both teams were making clutch plays to send us to another even half. History would repeat itself as Blinn had the momentum on their side and defeated Texas A&M to clinch their bid to qualify for the CECC Finals in Arlington. They will not go alone, however, as Texas A&M will also be getting a bid to Arlington to compete with the top schools in the collegiate atmosphere. Next up is Saturday, April 15th for the CECC Service Academy Qualifiers, Day 1. We have 3 teams competing for 1 spot into CECC Arlington, but only 2 can move on to Day 2. Army West Point came out swinging on Day 1 as they went 2-0 in both of their games to secure the first spot in the finals. One of their star players was MIB Police as they kept on fragging out with multiple 3 to 4 Ks per map, always ending on top of the leaderboards. The last spot will be decided with Air Force taking on Naval Academy, where Air Force was able to secure the 2-0 victory and secure that final spot. Tomorrow will be the rematch between Air Force and Army West Point, but will history repeat itself? Only time will tell. Next up is Sunday, April 16th for the CECC Service Academy Qualifiers, Day 2. It's time for the finals, and either Air Force or Army West Point will be earning that bid to CECC Texas today. Army West Point came out swinging on Split as they only dropped a single round to Air Force. One of the standout performers on the first map had to be D-Song, as they got numerous 4Ks to seal the first map win in Army West Point's favor. It was a similar story on Ascent, as this time around, MIB Police was the one to lead the team to an aggressive run. MIB Police was able to secure an ace at the end of the game and secure the 2-0 victory and a spot in CECC Texas less than 1 month from now. Next, we'll head to Esports U2 for coverage of our normal conference play, which will start with Monday, April 10th, ECAC Super Smash Bros. Ultimate quarterfinals between Penn State Berend versus University at Albany. We saw Albany defeat New York Tech last week, but they also took out the 3rd-seeded St. Joseph's to make it to the quarterfinals to match up with Penn State Berend. Berend's captain Trollery was out first, and he quickly took out Razor before falling to the might of D Danger's Yoshi. D Danger was doing wonders on the likes of Berend, taking out Whack and almost eliminating Ares, but his comrade Katyusha was able to finish them off and claim set 1 as Albany's. Set 2 had D Danger come out first and tore through Ares and nearly took out Trollery as well, but yet again, Katyusha was there to finish off the job. All Berend had left was Whack on Peach, but sadly he could not face the wrath of Katyusha's Isabel as Albany took the 2-0 victory to move on to the semifinals, while they would face the juggernaut known as Fisher Spring. Can the miracle run continue, or will a top 4 finish be the end of the story in Albany? Next up is the ECC Conference Rocket League semifinals between College of Staten Island versus New York Tech. The last time these two teams met was in Week 6 of the regular season, and New York Tech scored the hard-fought 3-2 win. But can Staten Island reverse history and make it their 5th consecutive finals? Staten Island were dominating the first 2 games, as they barely let New York Tech score any goals whatsoever, while Mux was dunking the ball in the goal numerous times on the other end. It seemed like New York Tech finally woke up as they were able to get their first lead of the series in Game 3 and snatched away the sweep from Staten Island's hands. Unfortunately, that awakened the slumbering beast known as Staten Island, the Dolphins, as Mux came fully online with a hat trick, while 11-teen and Driftsy shattered their defenses to take home the win and a spot at the ECC Brooklyn LAN. Next up is Thursday, April 13th for the ECC Valorant semifinals, featuring SNHU Penman versus Malloy University. It's the ECC Valorant semifinals, but we will be seeing a rematch of the Fall 2022 finals as Southern New Hampshire looks to repeat history against Malloy. Southern New Hampshire was breezing through Lotus as they kept on taking round after round while Malloy could only get the crumbs left over. TN6 tried to hold on to the first map for Malloy, but Southern New Hampshire snatched away that dream to be up in the series. The domination did not stop there, as on Haven, we saw Southern New Hampshire continue their aggressive dominance and take out their rivals in Malloy. With their tickets booked to the Brook LAN on April 26th, they only have one more roadblock in their way for the title, New York Tech. Next up is the ECAC Conference for Tuesday, April 11th for the ECAC Valorant quarterfinals, University of South Florida versus Pace University. We finally made it to the quarterfinals, and today we get to witness Pace take on a challenging foe in South Florida who has yet to lose a single match this season. Starting off on Haven, South Florida were showing why they were cruising through the first half, taking round wins in spectacular fashion. It was getting a little dicey in the second half as Pace were picking up the pace by going on a large round win streak, but it was cut short as South Florida were able to claim the defusal win and the first map win as well. Ascent was up next, and it was following a similar trajectory to Haven as South Florida were in the lead in the first half, but Pace were slowly climbing and picking it back up. That momentum was shut down after Blazer was able to secure a beautiful ace and took the series 2-0 to advance in the semifinals to face off against the first-seeded Cal Poly Pomona. Next up for the ECAC is Wednesday, April 12th for Marist College versus Stockton University for the ECAC Rocket League playoffs. It's only round 3, but Marist is beginning a Cinderella run as they beat the 4th-seeded Delaware and are now setting their sights on Stockton. Surprisingly enough, we went through the entire 5 minutes of Game 1 without a goal, and within a minute of overtime, Marist was able to clinch their first round win on the board. Game 2 had a lot more goals scored, but we still went to an overtime where Stockton's Kev Dog was able to neutralize the series. Everything Marist did, Stockton had an answer for, as in Game 3 and 4, every time Marist scored a goal, Stockton was able to get 2 more to answer on top, which sent them all the way to series point. Stockton had the momentum in the palm of their hands, and they did not let go of the gas, as they dominated in Game 5 to win the overall series and a date with Fanshawe Fuel. Next up is the ECAC Overwatch 2 semifinals. Fisher College versus Kane University. Despite being in a small division, Fisher and Kane have not faced off against each other so far in spring of 2023. So their first time will be their last time. Kane was able to flip the points on Ilios in their favor several times, but Fisher was able to take it back and eventually claim map 1 of their own. Kings Row had a couple hiccups for Fisher, but they were able to recover and push through Kane's defenses to check off another win for themselves. Kane's push on Dorado did not make it very far, not even making it to the first point. So when it was Fisher's turn, they were able to match it and go even further beyond to take us to series points. New Queen Street was our potential grand finale, and Fisher wanted to end it fast as they got all the way to the street's end with time to spare. But Kane would not go quietly. Kane were able to hold off long enough to get into overtime, but Fisher would get a clean wipe to get the overall series win and a ticket to the grand finals against Ball State University. We round out the week with Friday, April 14th for the ECAC League of Legends quarterfinals, featuring Ohio Northern versus James Madison University. The last time we saw this matchup in Week 5, the first seed James Madison was able to dominate Ohio Northern, and they are looking to do it again in the ECAC playoffs. Ohio Northern decided to go with a funnel composition, which James Madison University took advantage of as they were able to dominate throughout the early game before transitioning that game into a Game 1 win. Ohio Northern decided to do a full team substitution for Game 2, which turned the tides in the favor of the team, turned up the aggression as well to 110%. James Madison could do nothing but watch as they got perfect gamed by the opposition to send us to a final battle on the Rift. Game 3 was definitely an all-out brawl as the teams kept on trading objectives and kills when possible to gain the advantage. Though only one team was able to eventually win the series and move on to the finals, that team was Ohio Northern as they moved on to face off against Pace University on the back of their substitutions. Well, that's going to do it for the college esports competition standings and conference play. Next, let's check in with my co-host, Katie Scott, for the latest in college esports news.
Let's go over our tournament highlights right now. Let's make sure you guys didn't miss a thing. First, Rocket League Series of the Night. We had Carolina, the best team in the league, against Bethany, who found itself in the very last place of the competition. Very exciting to see, as the competition will either give us some very dominating content or, on the other hand, people can side with the underdogs for a chance of them taking over. Let's see what has in store for this group of challenges. In the first match, Carolina started pretty strong, adding a lot of pressure to the opponent as it usually does, scoring 4 goals in the first 2 minutes. Just a great display from Poncho, Paco, and Kuro. Bethany tried to keep up, but sadly it was not possible, leaving the first game in favor of Carolina. After a short break, we returned to the second game where we saw a better side of Bethany in a much more even game. But once again, the perks of Carolina made the side different, and they took a victory 2-1. The third game was a nail-biter, incredibly display from both teams, leading us to a 4-4 tie with 1 minute to go. However, Carolina's plays were precise, and even after another goal from Bethany, they managed to close the game with 2 more, ending it on a 6-5 and taking the series. What a great display of power. It was evident that Bethany would have won if their rivals had held back just a little bit. But even when Bethany adapted surprisingly well, California showed why it was the favorite among the competition. Well done, everyone. The second series began 2 teams with quite skilled players, New Mexico State University and University of Colorado Boulder, both hard-hitting and with tricks up their sleeves. In a fairly complex first game, it was the teamwork of New Mexico that scored 4 amazing goals. But as Colorado was catching up, it was clear that New Mexico was praying for the game time to end as soon as possible. Fortunately, it did come out triumphant with a 4-3 victory. The second game was a mental reset for Colorado, seeing as they scored a goal right in the first seconds of the game. This forced NMSU to be more proactive, which later caused them many complications as they left the goal open with the intention of evening the score. Colorado took great advantage of it, which led to a final devastating 5-0. With 1 victory each, the third game was the complete opposite from the last. While they tied the score up twice and seemed a more even match overall, in the end NMSU utterly crushed Colorado by a score of 5-2, quickly redeeming themselves for their last defeat. There was just 1 game remaining until New Mexico took the best out of 3, and as it turned out, the fourth and last one played out to be really similar to the last game, where we got 2 ties at first, making it seem like a more balanced experience, but ended on a clear outliner, leaving New Mexico 4-2 and taking the victory. Way to go, New Mexico! If you didn't see enough of Carolina University already, rest easy because it went off once more against San Jose State. And if you know Carolina's team, they're not only putting up a fight, they're setting up a show for sure. Already warmed up, it was no surprise that the first game was taken completely by Carolina, disseminating San Jose with a 5-0 in the first game of the series. Nothing to say there. During the second game, we saw a more focused San Jose State making more opportunities for themselves and taking more chances. However, each of their shots were intercepted by different Carolina players. And while the game was 2-2 after 5 minutes, even taking us to overtime, it all ended thanks to a great individual play by Kuro from Carolina to take the match with a score of 3-2. The third match was a back and forth on both sides, The teams were attacking the defending with everything they had, and I'm sure many people hope for San Jose to recover, seeing as they just got so close in the last game. But it was once again Carolina who took the victory with a discreet 1-0, making it the second for them that day. Some of these players, I swear, even while being torn with a difference of 5 in the score, they always give it their all. And that's something we respect a lot. Thanks for your amazing performance, everyone, and I'm already excited for the next match. Now, look at you all caught up with that league. Let's catch you up with the news segments we have for today. Why don't we? Florida in esports just got a lot more interesting. Full Sail University recently awarded 5 of its esports team members a total of $10,000 in scholarships, each during the university's Hall of Game event. The scholarship funds were made possible through the partnership with Orlando Health, a nonprofit healthcare system with more than $8 billion in assets under management. They distribute $50,000 in scholarship funds annually, and this year, Full Sail was lucky enough to get the prize for its team, the Full Sail Armada. As a receding part of the collaboration, University Orlando Health Fortress, formerly known as the Fortress, got its name changed, now known as Full Sail University Orlando Health Fortress. The scholarship recipients include James Langford, Keenan Britt, Melanie DeLone, Mia Emmerich, and Seth Hoker, all of whom have different roles within the Full Sail Armada team. Full Sail University is a graduate and undergraduate degree granting institution that offers on-campus and online degree programs in various fields such as art, games, music, and technology. It has received numerous accolades and has over 91,578 graduates worldwide who have worked on countless award-winning projects. With these scholarships and esports growing in popularity, we hope that the university grows further and that students are inspired to find their place in esports. Talk about an upgrade, huh? Which brings us to some great news for Marshalltown Community College. The esports arena and conference center will soon be getting major upgrades thanks to the IVCCD Board of Directors' unanimous approval. Mechadyne, a Marshalltown technology company, specializes in AV solutions. We'll be partnering with MCC to provide all the necessary equipment, software, and installation services for both projects. The esports team will benefit greatly from the AV system upgrades, allowing the better broadcasting and recording of matches. And we should mention, the Desjardins Hall Conference Center will also be receiving an overhaul to keep up with the modern technology. It seems like we may receive Marshalltown Community College in this channel again. We'll be waiting excitingly to report all about your future feats in esports. Calling all high school gamers in Indiana. The Ball State Esports program is hosting the 2023 Indiana High School State Championship for esports on April the 29th. This exciting competition will take place at the state-of-the-art esports center in the Robert Bell building. If you're a fan of Rocket League, Valorant, or Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, this is your chance to compete against other high school teams for a chance to win one of 9 state titles across 3 divisions, A, double, and AAA. But that's not all. All teams that qualify for the championship will have the opportunity to attend a virtual coaching session with Ball State players and coaches to learn advanced strategies and techniques before their championship contests. And for those not competing, Ball State Esports will be hosting workshops on the day of the event. So what are you waiting for? Gather your team, sharpen your skills, and get ready to compete for the title of Indiana High School State Champion in esports. Fights Tournaments competition, isn't it exciting? The upcoming Grand National Finale of Amazon University Esports and Junior Esports is going to be held in Alicante, Spain, from April the 28th to the 30th, and it's going to be pretty amazing. The finalists will compete for a prize pool totaling up to 25,000 euros, with 15,000 going to the winners of Amazon University Esports and the remaining 10 being used to digitalize the classrooms of the winning centers in junior esports. Aside from the competition, there will be plenty of other activities and challenges for students to participate in, such as the Riot Game Fan Zone, excursions, and talks on accessibility in video games. And let's not forget about the chance to visit the facilities of GG Tech Entertainment, one of the biggest video game and technology companies around. And we've been following the Amazon University Esports League for a while now. It's so hard to believe that it's finally closing up. This is going to be an unforgettable weekend for students who love video games and esports. We'll see who comes out on top. More chances for colleges keep coming this way. Montana high school students interested in esports now have the opportunity to compete in a state championship tournament thanks to the University of Montana's Grizzly Esports team. To provide more opportunities for high schoolers, they created the Montana High School Championship Series last fall, which now features 15 schools from all over Montana. The teams play each other in Rocket League, Overwatch, and Super Smash Bros., with the top high school teams competing in a state championship tournament on May the 6th. The team started as a student club in 2012 and has since become an official university sport, competing in various online arenas. The Grizzly Esports team prides itself on building a strong sense of community and a support system for its players, and even while the Montana High School Association doesn't officially recognize these sports, about a dozen high schools in the state have started teams within the past 2 years and paid to compete in national online leagues. So, keep it rolling, Grizzlies. Show your state what good esports opportunities look like. Sometimes opportunities don't come quite this way, but even in Asia, we got you covered. Arcade Arena, an esports and gaming organization, has introduced 2 scholarship programs for student gamers in the country. And the best part? Valkyrie and Fulsey, 2 content creators from the popular gaming organization 100 Thieves, will be involved in the initiative and visit the Philippines this year for Conquest 2023. These scholarships will be open to senior high school students or those currently enrolled in undergraduate college in the Philippines. Besides these 2 scholarship programs, there's also Conquest Scholarship, which aspiring students need to submit their requirements before May 26th. Aspiring applicants need to check out Arcade Arena's official page to know more about details about the scholarship programs, because if you submit your application before April 30th, you could get a free pass to Conquest 2023. But even if you miss out on these scholarships, there are still other opportunities available through Arcade Arena's ASA programs. So, hurry up and apply before time runs out. Who knows? You might get a chance to meet these gaming icons in person. Don't miss out on this incredible opportunity. Seton Hall Esports is gearing up to host an epic gaming event for high school students. The Seton Hall Campus Series, which will take place on April the 29th through the 30th at Seton Hall University, will feature Rocket League and Super Smash Bros. Ultimate with a total prize pool of $400. Thanks to the support of Dell, players will be able to compete in a LAN environment with top-of-the-line computers, ensuring a seamless and immersive gaming experience. And with individual player tickets for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate and Rocket League available for just $10 each. The team passes for Rocket League are available for $27. This is an event that's accessible to all. The event will also include College Fair, where students can meet with esports representatives from Seton Hall and other participating institutions to explore potential scholarship opportunities. So, if you're a high school student who loves gaming and wants to explore potential scholarship opportunities, be sure to register for the Seton Hall Campus Series today. Registration closes on Thursday, April the 27th, so don't miss out on this incredible opportunity to showcase your skills and explore new opportunities. University of Wisconsin Stout is making strides in the esports industry by offering an esports coaching minor starting in the fall of 2023. Great for all and any students interested in game design, development, art, animation, and digital media. As we know, the learning institution already counts for an esports team, the Blue Devils, which competes in 5 games, including League of Legends and Overwatch. And standing around 40 players and student coaches, there's the chance to ascend to professional level. The team plays for an esports arena in Heritage Hall, and matches are typically consisted remotely, with their university also competing against teams across the country as a member of the National Association of Collegiate Esports. As you can see, UW Stout is at the forefront of this industry, providing students with 3 aspects of esports interaction, from game design to competing to coaching. The esports coaching minor includes a practicum where students can gain coaching experience with high school, university, or professional esports teams. So be ready, students from Wisconsin Stout, because this fall, you'll be going to the next level. Sending it back to you, Polly, for the rest of this week's esports news. We'll see you next week.
Thank you for joining us for week number 9 of College Esports Now. I hope you're up to date with all the latest action and news in the college esports universe. From everyone at College Esports Now, we'll see you next week for all the hype, storylines, and competition in college esports.